Why would we want to work with buyers rather than sellers? Any advantages?
I personally like buyers.
Okay.
And not sellers. I do. I've always done. I guess I started out working with more buyers and sellers, and I like representing them.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but I feel like there's a little bit more control going on. You can put all the marketing out in the world, but if your seller's not willing to move on price or whatever, it's more in their hands, but they blame you for a lack of activity or a sale.
Okay.
But I just like buyers in general. I like educating them.
Okay, good point, and that's what you really kind of have to do. And I always say that when you're working with sellers, their education will come kind of through the whole process of everything, and somewhat with buyers as well. Well, there's 20 years of experience speaking. Gail, why do you prefer dealing with buyers over sellers?
I just feel more comfortable with them for some reason. It's just like Tammy said,
Okay.
with the seller, you've got to constantly be updating them on why it wasn't shown, and do they want an open house, or who was the last person that showed it? You've got a lot more homework to do with the seller.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it because sellers brings you buyers.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think the communication, in terms of client communication, is a little easier, a lot easier with the buyers because they're sitting in the back of your car.
That's true.
And you can just talk back and forth and kind of update them. Normally, they're not going to be like, okay, well, let's take a look at some homes now, and then we'll come back 2 months from now and take a look again. No, they're moving, they're fast-paced, they're wanting to move forward. Well, here's a business model that I give to some newer people for the first 3 years. And I'm going to kind of take issue with this maxim right here. We've all heard this. If you don't list, you don't last. Right? What's meant by that?
No inventory, you're out of business.
Exactly. No inventory, you're out of business. I've also heard that it's like a grocery. You have to have cans up on the shelf in order to have something to sell. Well, I agree. And for most of us here in this room, yeah, we definitely want to look for those listings. But why are we saying such a thing to a brand new person? I don't understand that. Brand new agent, are they looking forward to 20, 32 years on down the road, or too long in Dick's case, on down the road for their career? No, they just want one paycheck. They just want to recoup the cost of getting their license. That's all they want. That's what they want. So here's what I always share with brand new people is that in your first year, in terms of your energy, your effort, your marketing, you want to put about 75% of your work towards picking up buyers. And I think this also goes too, if you've kind of been out for a little bit, and then you come back in, as we are starting to see more and more agents right now who went on hiatus, took a vacation for about 5 or 6 years, and now because the market has rebounded, they're coming back in. I would still tell them the same thing. Put about 75% of your emphasis, your energy on attracting those buyers so you can get a check quickly. Conceivably, you could meet people today and have a paycheck 4 weeks from now. You really could. And if you take a listing, granted right now, because there is such a low inventory, listings aren't really moving very fast. But in a normal market, you're generally going to get paid first dealing with those buyers. And then in year 2, I would say split that about 50-50 in terms of your attention, your marketing, who you're going to try to attract. And then year 3 and on, I'd say only about 25% towards getting those buyer clients. 75% of your emphasis, your energy towards getting the sellers. And here's the wonderful thing. If you're an established realtor and you do have good inventory of 2, 3, 4 really good showings, where are those buyers going to come from? Right there, from your showings, from your inventory. But you've already established yourself, you've got some things in the pipeline, hopefully, and you've had a first few checks, commission checks, so you can be looking towards longevity. Again, I'm going to take issue with this whole, If you don't list, don't last. I'm the type of person, I never take business philosophy from just one maxim. I always am leery about that. A cliche that's thrown around a lot, and you say, oh, well, that's what I got to do. If you don't list, you don't last. So here we go. If we need a business maxim for a newer person, or as it pertains to working with buyers, I've got one for you. How about this? If you ain't buying, you're dying. There. Is that better? Do we feel good? Chas, is that helpful? Or Chis, is that helpful? Okay, very good. Just remember that. If you ain't buying, you're dying. So there, I can say that. We can hang our business philosophy on that. So that's the model that I give for people just coming into real estate, or even their first few years coming back in. Well, let's understand the buyers. We've talked briefly in the introduction about how real estate has really kind of changed through the years. And even though we've kind of talked about paperwork, maybe it's not the paperwork that's been the biggest changes. We've got to get to know our buyers. We need to first understand what are their goals. What is it that they are looking for? Now they're going to say, oh, I want to live on the east side of town, or I want to live in Cannon County, or I want something with a large lot, and I want something with at least 1,800 square feet, or I can't do a 3-bedroom. Gotta have a 4. These are not their goals. These are not their goals. These are features of a house. Why do they want something on the east side of Tennessee, on the east side of the city, or in Cannon County, where they have to have this and that? Gotta have a basement. Good luck in Middle Tennessee.
Right.
But why? What is it that you're trying to do? So how do we handle that? Someone says, I gotta have a basement. Gotta have a basement. And let's say they're moving from someplace where there were a lot of basements, like Ohio or even Michigan or out in the Midwest, where it's not that much of a problem digging in ground because there's not all the rock that we have here. Well, their goals is not that they want a basement, it's that they want a large communal space where they can host parties and they can just kind of the unofficial place where they can live. So can they make do with a really large bonus room or a den or even a step down? Does that work? So we have to kind of just not take, oh, okay, checklist 1, checklist 2, checklist 3. We've really got to get into what is it that they want? What are their goals? And we mainly do that through an initial consultation before we even throw them in our car. And we'll talk more about the initial consultation in a little bit. Have they bought before? Have they bought before? Okay. So they may understand the process somewhat if they've purchased within the past 5 or 6 years. However, what if they purchased 20 years ago and a lot of things have changed? A number of times I will talk to some people who are, maybe this is their 3rd or 4th home that they purchased, and perhaps they're in their 50s. So they've had some experience there. And I will say, do you understand how earnest money works? They're like, oh yeah, we understand how earnest money works. No, they don't. We really need to explain what earnest money is and how it works. If we don't take the time to do that, then we're setting ourselves up for potential disputes on down the road. And how time wasting is that? Jimmy, I got a problem, because people are disputing over earnest money. What do I do right now? And you got to put your whole day on hold to figure that out or get the next steps moving forward when you could be out prospecting.